Welcome, everyone. Today we're going to talk about an important step in your journey from student to licensed funeral service professional, the National Board Exam, or NBE. I know that as students, the idea of a major board exam can seem intimidating, but the goal of this presentation is to demystify the process for you. We'll cover what the exam is, why it's important, and exactly what you need to do to take it and succeed. First, we'll look at the big picture, the organization behind the exam and its purpose. Then we'll go into the specifics of the exam itself, including its structure and scoring. After that, we'll walk through the practical steps you'll take from proving eligibility to sitting for the exam. Finally, we'll cover the resources available to help you prepare and succeed. The NBE is developed and administered by an organization called the International Conference of Funeral Service Examining Boards, which we just call the conference. They are the official body that creates and manages this exam for the entire country. Now, why do you have to take it? The NBE is a component of the licensure process. Its main goal is to protect the public. State licensing boards use your NBE results to verify that you have the minimum knowledge required to be a safe and competent entry-level practitioner. It's a standardized national benchmark for our profession. The exam isn't just one big test, it's broken into two distinct sections, the arts and the sciences. You can take them on the same day or on different days, but they are scheduled and scored separately. Each section has 170 multiple choice questions. But only 150 of those questions actually count toward your score. The remaining 20 are pre-test questions that the conference is testing for future exams. You won't know which is which, so treat every single question as if it counts. You'll get 170 minutes for each section, which works out to exactly 1 minute per question. Let's look at the arts section first. As you can see, the content directly reflects the key duties you'll perform in your career. The largest domain is funeral arranging and directing, with 51 scored questions. This is followed by legal and regulatory compliance with 35 items, etc. The number of questions for each domain is determined by a national job task analysis survey, which ensures the exam reflects what practitioners are actually doing in the field today. The sciences section of the exam focuses on the technical, scientific knowledge essential to our work. The embalming domain is the most heavily weighted with 62 questions. Restorative art is next with 34 questions. The other domains cover other preparation techniques and general funeral service sciences. Just like the art section, the content and question distribution for the sciences are directly linked to the American Board of Funeral Service Education curriculum and textbooks used in programs like ours. Scoring on the NBE works a bit differently than your typical classroom test. It uses a method called scaled scoring. Think of it like temperature. 0 degrees Celsius and 32 degrees Fahrenheit are different numbers, but they represent the same thing: freezing. Similarly, the conference uses psychometric data to adjust for minor differences in difficulty between exam versions, ensuring that a score of 75 always represents the same level of knowledge regardless of which set of questions you got. The passing score is a 75. This does not mean a 75%. If you pass, your report just says pass, no number. This is because the exam is only designed to confirm you meet the minimum standard. If you don't pass, you will see your numerical score, which gives you an idea of how close you were. You'll also get a diagnostic report showing areas you need to work on, which is incredibly helpful for your next attempt. Okay, let's get into the practical steps. How do you get the green light to take the exam? The main requirement is graduating from an ABFSE accredited program, which is exactly what you're working toward right now. Once you've met all of the program's graduation requirements, the program will submit your eligibility for you. A key takeaway here is that while you can fill out your application anytime, your file is not complete and you cannot schedule your exam until the conference has received and processed this proof of eligibility. The application itself is straightforward. You'll go to the website and create a candidate portal account. This is where you'll manage your application, view your status, and later access your history. You'll apply for the arts and sciences sections and pay the fee, which is currently $285 for each section. I cannot stress this next point enough. The first and last name on your application must be a match to the primary and secondary IDs you will present on exam day. If they don't match, you will not be allowed to test. Finally, please be aware of the clock. From the day you pay, you have exactly 1 year to take your exam. The fees are non-refundable, so don't apply until you are confident you can test within that 12-month window. After you've applied and your eligibility is confirmed, you'll get a very important email called the Authorization to Test, or ATT. This is your ticket to schedule the exam. The NBE is administered by a company called Pearson VUE at their high security testing centers. You'll go to their website or call them to pick your date, time, and location. I recommend scheduling as far in advance as possible to get the slot you want. Be very mindful of the rescheduling policy. Life happens, but making last-minute changes is costly. Changes are free if you're more than 30 days out, but there's a fee within that 30-day window. Absolutely no changes can be made in the final 24 hours. If you miss your appointment for any reason, you're considered a no-show and you lose your $285 fee. No exceptions. Plan to get to the test center at least 30 minutes before your scheduled time. This is not a suggestion. If you are late, you will be turned away and lose your fee. You absolutely must bring 2 forms of identification. One must be a primary government-issued photo ID like a driver's license. The second can be something like a credit card or a student ID, as long as it has your name and signature. Both must be current and not expired. The check-in process is like going through airport security. You'll sign in, have your picture taken, and they'll scan your palm vein to identify you when you enter and exit the testing room. All of your personal belongings, including your phone and keys, will go into a locker that you cannot access again until you are completely finished. Once you're seated at your computer, pay close attention. A non-disclosure agreement, or NDA, will appear on the screen. You have exactly 3 minutes to read and agree to it. This is a legally binding agreement that says you will not share exam content. If you fail to agree in time, your session is terminated and your money is gone. You will be provided with an erasable noteboard and marker, and nothing else is allowed. No phone, no watch, no water bottle. If you need a break to use the restroom, you may, but the 170-minute clock keeps ticking. The conference takes exam security extremely seriously. Discussing or sharing questions after the exam is a major violation that can have severe consequences for your career before it even begins. The moment you click End Exam, your pass or fail result will pop up on the screen. You'll know right away. You will also get a printed copy of this unofficial result to take with you. This printout is for your personal records only. You cannot use it for licensing. The conference will handle sending the official report directly to the state board you selected when you applied. And for those who pass, you'll get a nice wall certificate needs it in the mail. I still have mine 20 years later. Failing an exam like this is disappointing, but it is not the end of the road. If you are unsuccessful, there is a mandatory 30-day waiting period before you are allowed to test again. You can use this time to study and prepare. To retake the exam, you must go through the application process again, which includes paying the full exam fee. The most important thing is to use that diagnostic report you receive, which shows you exactly where you need to focus your efforts to be successful the next time around. The conference produces official study materials to guide your preparation. There are 2 main resources. First are the study guides, one for arts and one for sciences. They contain the full content outline, sample questions, and vocabulary lists. They cost $50 each. Second, there are online practice exams that simulate the real testing experience. These are 75 question time tests that give you a score report to identify your weak spots. These cost $60 each time you take one. While no study tool can replace what you learn in classes, these official resources help you prepare for the format and style of the NBE. The conference is committed to providing access for all candidates. If you have a diagnosed disability covered by the ADA that substantially limits a major life activity, you can apply for testing accommodations such as extended time or a separate room. This is a formal process that requires specific documentation from your doctor, and you must read the conference's ADA handbook on their website to understand all the requirements. For more temporary issues, like if you break your arm right before the exam, there is a simpler process for requesting minor assistance. The most important thing to remember is that all requests for any kind of modification must be made and approved well in advance. You cannot show up on exam day and ask for accommodations. It will not be granted. I know that was a lot of information, so let's boil it down to the most basic points. First, read the official NBE candidate handbook from cover to cover, which is available on the conference website under resources. It is your ultimate guide. Second, be vigilant about deadlines. Third, double and triple check that your name on your application is an exact match for your methods of identification. Fourth, take exam security seriously. And finally, show up to your exam early and prepared. If you ever have questions that can't be answered by the handbook, the conference staff are there to help. Their contact information is on the screen. Thank you for your attention.